when I promoted to a medic, we started dealing with a lot of the people, right? The public in general, sick, hurting. They don't call 911 when they're having a good day. You call 911 when something's bad, right? I can't control it. I can't help it. To some people, that's a stub toe, and to others, it's a cat in the tree and whatever else. But for most people, it's, I'm going to call when I'm bleeding and I'm hurting and something bad's going on. And I really think that we got to see and deal with and help a lot of people. But when I get there as a medic, my first question is, you called for something. How can we help you? What did you call for? We start going through the pains, the illnesses, whatever they're dealing with. And through that process, we start to find out, one of my first questions is, why are we here? My second question is, what is your medical history? Because if I knew what their medical history was, what medicines they were taking, things like that, I could have a pretty good understanding as to what they were dealing with or the problems they had. The ironic thing was, by looking at their medical history and their medications, that's what really got me interested in this proactive approach versus a reactive approach. Because I kept feeling like being a paramedic was very reactive, right? We would wait and wait and wait. We'd get a phone call. We'd slide down the pole, so to speak, jump in the car, jump in the truck, drive as fast as we can to get there. And we kept running into these people that were on 12 medicines, 15 medications, 18 medications. I think I kept calling my cousin back and forth. And I remember we got to a point where I had a lady who had 34 prescription medications. I remember thinking, man, I don't know if we're heading the right direction or not, right? She had about 6 or I think 4 actual issues. She was taking medications for those issues and other medications for those medications. And I think the last 4 on the list were creams because of the rashes that the medications were causing, and so on and so forth. So I just remember those conversations. And the main thing that I'm sharing that with you about is because I'm honestly probably one of the first to defend that field and that area. I've seen miracles happen. Literally, I've seen little babies, come back to life. And I did CPR on a guy that was only 40 years old for 40 minutes, and we got a pulse back. And 2 weeks after that event, he comes back by the fire station with his wife and 2 kids, and he's just grateful, right? Trying to say thank you. He has a bucket of double chocolate chunk cookies and a gallon of milk, and he's trying to say thank you for us saving his life, right? I respect that, and I love that. But I think we right, we put a lot of stress on that system, because sometimes we think, hey, the doctor will just fix it. And I'll just go there. And we really start to think in a different mindset sometimes. And when we get sick, then we go, right? Same thing, when we run out of money, then we look for more. And so I think tonight we're going to cover a couple of topics based on my experience. Health-wise, I want a little different approach, more of a proactive, where we look ahead, try to do some things in that mindset, versus a reactive, right? Wait till it happens and then chase down the solution. Financially as well. I think right now there's some people chasing down a solution and trying to find something because of the system they were in or the type of income they were making or whatever. And it's nice to be able to share with you something we're confident in, because we have some solutions right now. We have, a very, very health-minded focus on where we're heading, and it's a very big focus right now. And, go look at how many people are searching for, a home-based business or to work from home. And both of which tonight we can cover. And I cover it in this concept of digging the well before you're thirsty, right? Sometimes we wait. I'm from Arizona, right? I ranched a lot of my life. And when you start digging a well after you get thirsty, you're not going to get to water before you run out, right? You need to dig when things are good. And right now, it's not that they're great, but a lot of people are home. We're working from home, and we're covering this type of content every week, every day. There's groups all over the country doing that. And so we have some solutions to show you tonight. And so I'm going to run through a quick slide deck just to show you a kind of a consistent message that we're sharing. Definitely the person that got you on the call is going to be able to explain this in more detail and more thorough. This is just kind of an introduction. We're just going to kind of cover some things quick tonight. And hopefully just to kind of pique your interest a little bit, because for me, I went looking for something along these lines a long time ago. I was a paramedic, and I had, like I said, and I had 3 different events in less than 30 days where I almost didn't come home. I had a building fall, a secondary collapse took place. It hit my helmet. I was on the freeway with a patient in my hands, and a car came through the cones and touched the heel of my boot going about 70 miles an hour. And I remember, an inch difference would have been the difference in my life and maybe even the patient's life. And I just remember going home after those days and my wife asking, how was your day? I remember after 3 of those, I remember saying, well, I don't want to tell her all this. You probably won't let me go to work, but I will at least start to ask some questions about what if. If I didn't come home, are we okay? What if, right? And that was the basis of which we went to look for a second source of income, another thing we could do on the side. I looked at 15 different companies, and I ended up here at LifeVantage because of this checklist we're going to kind of talk about today, some of the components that make this special and make it real. So let me see if I can share this with you guys tonight, the screen, and we'll get through some of the just some of the consistent images and messaging here. I want you to really kind of pay attention to what we have to offer as a company. Somebody obviously loved you enough and cares about you enough to put you on the call tonight. And I'm sure there's some respect and there and what they're doing, what they're wanting to partner up with you about, offer you as health products, offer you as a solution for finances. So we're going to talk through some of this. We have a disclosure. Just know that we understand that we're not going to be able to guarantee incomes. The stories we share are just going to be examples of what we do, and we'll show you some actual numbers here from the company. But there's 4 major components of what we're looking at tonight. We're going to break this into 4 major pieces, and one of them is going to be product and science. We're going to have compensation. I think those 2 alone, you guys, are my bread and butter. I love them. We could spend hours on each of those, but the ability to have an income right now that comes in, right, that's leveraged, it's something you've done, you've built, it's based on sales that you don't have to go chase down every single month. It's amazing. And the ability to have science and products that are going to benefit you and help you, those 2 pieces I think are key. We'll also show you timing and why we think this is a great thing to do now, right? No matter what else you're doing, it's a great side gig, so to speak, that ends up for us, a lot of us, turning into something that's the primary focus of what we're doing. It's helping people. For me, I was able to walk away from the fire department because here I felt like I was helping thousands and tens of thousands, versus there we were helping, I mean, hundreds every day, right? It was powerful, but we were helping the few versus the many. So the system is next. Having a system in place allows more people to be successful. It allows you and everyone to be able to jump in and say, hey, I can do this because there's a process, there's a path, there's people going to help me, and we can do this together. So with my background, we'll start with science and products. I started digging and researching health. I started looking into some pretty interesting questions, and I ended up lining up with a similar question that the company had years ago. They began with a single question a long time ago with the same idea, right? Go to the next slide here. So there's a couple, make sure this is shared. Okay, so that question in the lab, I think, was similar to what I had. And I think they found 2 different things. Number one, they found that our genes in our bodies contain the ability to keep our bodies healthy. We produce them. Our DNA produces those genes. Decades later, we discovered ways to activate those genes. And that became our primary message, was when we can activate those ourselves, and we can actually decide to activate those, right? Make the decision. You'll hear things like biohacking. You'll start hearing terminology in our company that allows us to change and decide and choose to make those things stronger in our life. And so we continued studying and doing this research. And I think that's what interests me and led to that. So brief background, products have been sold since 2003. ABC Primetime did a report in 2005. That's the first thing that I got to see in this company, that the ability to watch that long ago and still have such relevance, have such meaning and validity, right? A third party, primetime investigative report saying that, hey, this stuff is cool. This is what it does, and this is how it works. And that ability to do that, I think, was key in and for me, watching something legit. Now, I'm a paramedic, and so I'm a little, I dig through the products a little bit, and out of those 15 companies I said I looked at, probably 12 of them I walked out of the room because the products didn't do what they said they were going to do. I never even got to the point where we discussed business or the other things, because once I saw the product wasn't what I wanted, the rest of it didn't matter. After seeing this video, I realized that we have products that will change the world if we can get it into their hands. So instantly, the rest of the message became important. So I hope you get that. That's what makes this so important, in my opinion. And then we had self-funded research being done all over the world. There's a list of some of the places, and you've seen them, you've read studies from them, and it was interesting to be able to watch. So they started there. I got to be involved in about 2009 when we were switching from this retail setting, GNC, places like that, and they were switching to a direct sales avenue. That ability and that switch allowed us to get involved. We began using activation, right? You're going to see how in a couple different theories, we began to activate our own genes. And so there's three basic theories, main theories we're going to talk about, and we'll show you how this fits in. Actually, I was in Australia. Dave talked about us meeting there and us going through kind of his first, I think we were there for 10 days, hitting city after city after city. And there was actually a doctor there that gave me this similar slide, right? It had a lot more detail, but the idea that oxidative stress was connected to so many things. Oxidative stress, we're constantly being bombarded by that. The free radicals that cause oxidative stress, you know, the solution that our bodies have is we do produce antioxidants that fight that problem. Unfortunately, our body's slow in the production of those antioxidants as we age. So we know that that's a problem. Our bodies do have a solution. The older we are, the less effective our bodies deal with that solution. So what causes oxidative stress? You're going to like this list. Sometimes you look at this and say, well, can I even get around it? And the answer kind of is no. There's things that we can do to decrease that. As a firefighter, prior to learning about what I'm going to show you here with Nerve2 activation and Protandim, it was all about just as much antioxidants, volume, right? Knock off the smoking, knock off this and that if you can, but man, let's get volumes of antioxidants to hopefully mitigate the free radicals and reduce the oxidative stress, which in turn can help all of these different areas of your body, right? So that was the idea. We had Protandim, we had one product, we had a couple studies, we had the ABC Primetime Report, and we went to work. We went to show the world that we were going to help them, we were going to change the world, and it's fun that that message slowly got bigger and bigger as we go through time. We got more studies, we had a ton of things added as we went along, but the idea that we could reduce oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days was the message. It still is, it's consistent. When you know what oxidative stress does, reducing it by 40% becomes a focus. It becomes a literal focus in your life. And the best way, I was a mechanic for years, so the best way I explain this is when you start your car, right? Oxygen and fuel gets sucked into the piston, the engine. It gets compressed and heated. It ignites. It creates heat and energy. And there's a byproduct of that energy that pushes the piston down, the explosion. That downforce pushes the car. But when the piston comes back up, the exhaust valve opens and all the garbage comes out the tailpipe, right? That process is awesome, right? Our bodies are very similar. We eat, we have a mitochondria in our bodies that burn, and we use that as fuel and energy and heat. And then we have these byproducts and things. Free radicals are sometimes in that mix of byproducts that are incomplete. One doctor gave me a suggestion, and I was trying to figure out a good way to explain what free radicals were and the problem. And he said something kind of funny. He said, honestly, he said, put 10 boys, 10 kids in a padded room. And he said padded, so I knew he was getting at something. He said, give them 9 basketballs and see what happens, right? 10 boys, 9 balls, what's going to happen? Someone's not going to get one. He said, that's your free radical. They're missing something. The problem is they size up everyone in the room and they take what they want from someone else. That person is now left without, and then they do the same. And by the time this goes around and around, we have oxidative stress in all of those areas on the last slide I just showed you. And so we found that if we can, in the NRF2 pathway, we could actually affect the genes and turn on the genes that actually fight this process. And by lowering oxidative stress that's caused, we know that we're making a difference with the product. And so study after study, we've been coming out for years. If you're a reader and you like that stuff, great. I can read the abstracts and get through some of it, but the 53-page report, I handed to a few doctor friends and cardiologists and buddies of mine. And when they came back and said, man, this product is better than you said it was, I knew we were on the right track. They said, man, this product is changing lives. It's literally going to change the way that we look at health. And it was fun to be able to see that. And all three of the people I handed it to almost said exactly the same thing. Nice try, but this product is better than that. Okay. And from a doctor's view, that was pretty fun. This idea of one and done versus 1 to 1,000 is the difference, right? When we take regular antioxidants, the things I was telling these guys in the fire department to take, blueberries and oranges, and let's just fill our bodies full. The problem is those molecules can only fight one free radical. And so it's like handing a basketball in the room, one at a time. One room at a time, we hand one basketball and we make everyone happy. And it does work, and there are, you know, some stuff showing that those high concentrations help. But the problem is there's so many. I mean, there's so many in our bodies that we cannot combat with that process. We just can't kill enough free radicals or neutralize enough free radicals through that process. So just some things to think about, the way we can, here's a couple examples, 11 pounds of blueberries, some things that would be required to make a dent in that, right? 175 oranges, 120 vitamin C tablets. I mean, there is a such thing as too much is not better too. I like the one of 80, people say, oh, there's so much antioxidants in red wine, right? 87 glasses of red wine is what it would take. And I always kind of laughed, right? I went on a call one time with the little kid, new mom, new little baby. She was changing diapers and trying to figure out what's going on, called us because it was blue and all this stuff that took place. Well, this toddler had gotten into the refrigerator and opened up a big old carton of blueberries and downed them, right? I just laugh at the fact that we have other problems when we go try to fix it this way, right? 87 glasses of red wine a day. I was doing a meeting one time and I had a guy in the front row start rolling up his sleeves when he heard that. He was kind of dozing off, and he woke up and somebody brought out like 30 bottles of wine to show what it would take. And he thought the boring meeting just got fun, right? The reality is, how can we do that every day? Is that good? And there's other issues that go along with that if we think that's a solution. Or we take a Protandim every day, right? And we can change our ability to fight millions of free radicals per second. If you notice the chart there on the right-hand side after Protandim, ABC Primetime Report showed this, and many studies after, that without Protandim, it increases from age 20 on till death. With Protandim, we can actually lower it or keep it down at a consistent level, and that is huge when we know what it's connected to. So just some things to think about. We have proof. PubMed.gov, you guys, is a great resource. As a paramedic, I was allowed to do research in a couple places. Can you imagine as a paramedic, right, me showing up at your house, putting on a pair of rubber gloves and saying, hold still a second, I just read this on the internet, I'm gonna see if it works, right? Everyone says, no, you can't do that, right? You have to go look at something that's real, that's approved. And PubMed was that place for us. If we wanted to go research and study, we could go and do some research in a place where there's peer-reviewed published studies, and that was where these other journals here that we have things listed in. Man, I'll just say this. If you want to go do the research, you can. Don't just take our word for it, but just know that I have not seen another product. Those other products of the 15 companies I said I went to, when I typed those in PubMed or other sources, depending on what the products were, it's hard to find validation. It's hard to find real validation. Type in Protandim on PubMed. Watch what pops up. It's amazing. You guys will be impressed. Circulation, right? The Journal of Circulation by American Heart Association. That's the same journal we studied our cardiac stuff in as a medic, right? And now we have Protandim in the same journal, and it's just a comfortable place to go read and study. So that may help a little bit. Some of the universities, you guys, that have done these studies, self-funded, right, and do this, but it is amazing what the world is finding out about the product and what the world is finding out the product does. Here's one by Washington State University. NRF2 is likely to be the most important health promoting approach in the foreseeable future. NRF2, NFR2, may become the most extraordinary breakthrough in the history of health. I don't know how to say it any clearer. We have something special. NRF2 production, or the ability to affect that pathway, is special, and we have the ability to do that. So a second theory, right, mitochondrial decline. Mitochondrium in our cells is like the engine of our cells. Like I just said, mitochondrium break down the food and the oxygen, and they create heat and energy. The problem is, as we age, right, it slows down. The production of those slow down. The body is constantly fixing or removing damage. We just can't do it fast enough as we age. And so one of our second products is focused on that pathway, the NRF1 pathway, that allows the mitochondrium to either, continue to grow, to rebuild, to fix the ones that are not working. It's nice to be able to see the energy levels, right? The cellular energy, and some of the things that change when we had this. And we had these two for a while, right? I'm going to show you the third theory here in a minute. But when we had these two for a while, it was fun to be able to watch that change. Let me pop out of here real quick. All right, so the third theory, let me pull this up. The third theory is serotonin activity. Let me make sure that's pulled up right. So I think that's up there where you guys can see it. Our bodies back up when we start to get rid of this waste. And so we can constantly produce serotonin, but again, over time, our bodies slow down that production. And so when we looked at a way to fix that and help that out, we came out with NAD. NAD has been out for a little while in other areas. When you understand that pathway, it's fun to be able to realize the value. Sorry, let me pull that. The value of that. And when we threw it in a product, and here's the part you're not going to want to miss. When we threw that in a product and tested it with our other products, tested it on the ability for this to make our other products effective, that tri-synergizer became, for me, one of the most important breakthroughs. Not individually. Individually, we have proof and science and those things, but when you put them together, something even special happens. And I'm just going to show you this chart real quick. I hope you can see it. I don't know if you're on your phones, but if you look at the gray area on these charts, that gray area shows what our product did by itself, okay? When you look at the 40%, which we talked about, NRF2 activation, look at the difference when you add the tri-synergizer in blue, right? Look at this 838% increase, 64% with NRF1. I love to watch this. Look at 226%, 127%. What we knew that the combination would help. We didn't realize the results would be that astronomical. So we're excited about this. If you can kind of get the bug or the understanding of what we're talking about, this is a fun place to be for us right now. It's fun to have all three finally together so that we can actually help people, I think, in a better way, right? So I apologize, something keeps kicking me out here, but we'll get through this. So I think I want to show you the rest of our product line, because that tri-synergizer, I think, is the big reason we're here and explaining this tonight, and probably what was already introduced to you if you're on the call tonight. What I do think is important, though, is to understand what else we have, because that tri-synergizer, I think, is going to give you the biggest internal benefit. But when you look at some of these other areas, Axio, when you look at smart energy, the ProBio, the ability to have better gut health and better absorption, so the things we are eating get used. Omega, the soft fatty organs in our body, our brains, with their benefits and needs. Our physique weight management, our skincare line, our hair care. I got a dog that literally was in an accident and had an amputated leg the same time we got Pet Tandem for dogs. And I loved what the surgeon kept saying about this when he was so surprised that he did so well in things that normally take place and that wasn't there. And he was pretty excited about that. So we're going to get into a couple things here. I'm going to go to our second component. I wanted to spend a little bit of time there with our products. I think for me, I could probably spend all day there, but there's so many more pieces to this. And especially if you hear our whole story, compensation is important. I don't think we ever do a business without the thought that we're going to be compensated or not, right? We need to be compensated for our work. And we're going to go through that here a little bit. I'll just say this though. Once I knew our products were that good, and we didn't have that big of variety. You guys getting involved now are awesome. You guys got a great future ahead of you. You got a great story. We've been on the products for years. We have proof and science. And the compensation makes more sense when we have people that are going to want the product and want to stay on the product. Even, especially in times like now, it's fun when we have a product that people hold on to. We're going to talk a little bit about how to make money. We have bonuses, Smart Start bonuses that allow you to get paid and launch bonuses weekly. Those are important. When you get involved, you need a check right away. You need your money back right away. It's our way of building something in that isn't just in the future. This can happen like a regular check to get out there and work hard, and there's a percentage that can come in weekly, okay? We do have other things that are monthly that I think are more valuable in the big picture as far as bigger, larger commissions. Unilevel, generational match, elite pools will show you some of these things. But just know that there's weekly and monthly volume. So we'll show you some of the models here. You need to have a personal volume. The fun part about the personal volume, if you get it between 100 and 200, then you're going to get 30%. If it's over 200, to 40% of that weekly Smart Start we talked about. I think this is important to know that your 200 PV, if that's what your goal is, counts as your personal volume, what you ordered personally, plus your customers. So if your personally enrolled customers are buying a couple $100 a month and you do your 40 minimum, then you can cover that 200 within this system pretty easy. So we have a big family, a lot of good products. We get what we need and use, and so we just have that amount covered, but our personal customers, personally enrolled customers, counts towards that as well. We have some different packs I'll show you here in a minute. Just know that the packs, when you get involved, there's a $300 pack, $600 or $1,200. And this month, there's typically a $50 kit that goes with that. And so this month, right now, if you're getting involved, that is waived. So it's not $350, $650, and $1,250. It's the numbers you see here. The nice thing is that you can get that back. Every time you enroll somebody, bring them on board, show them this video. There's daily meetings going on. We have this one going on every Tuesday night. Bring a group back. They get involved. Let's say you got involved with the Platinum, right? When you get $400 each time you bring someone on board that does that same Platinum, if you're doing those minimums I just showed you. So $1,200 can come back very quickly. Our role and our job and our help mentorship is to help you get that back as soon as you can. You can also do it through customers. It doesn't take a lot. You share the message. Some people see the products, they don't see the business. They can buy the products, great, and then you have the ability to get the same percentages off those product purchases as well. And there's some examples for you. Here's the part I want to touch on, right? Work from home or anywhere. How valuable is that right now? Social sharing. I think of, you know, I just looking down here, no inventory, the things that typically people worry about, I think are important. My uncle and my aunt did a business, and I remember going over to the house, and my uncle was always kind of frustrated because his truck was parked outside so that his wife could use the garage for inventory to have enough to deliver these products that she was supposed to deliver. What I love about the package you're buying and what you do is the back office, right? The corporate side of this deals with the inventory, the shipment, and all the other stuff that a big business does. I mean, our business does millions of dollars a month. That goes out automatically. I don't have to be home. I don't have to fill buckets. I don't have to have it in my garage. I order what I use. I do have some samples for people when they need them. It doesn't put the truck in the garage, if that makes sense, right? So there's some benefits there if you're looking at that. We'll get into a little bit more with that later. Timing, you guys, timing is important. When you look at timing, why right now? Just look at some of these things of where we're at. If you look at this chart, okay, man, I just look at, compared to other things that are out there, look at the difference of where wellness is. Look where people are focused. Look at the increase from 2010 over the last 8 years, 9 years here. I think we got 18, so we still have a couple of years not on here. But over the last few years, look at the increase in wellness compared to some of the decrease in some of these other areas. We're in a great field, a great place to be when we're looking at growth in the industry in general, right? And we have a piece of that. Look at this, 1,800 studies per month growing on oxidative stress. Not hard for people to start to realize it's important, and great when we can show them a solution and a way to reduce that, proof and science backing us up, not just a story. We can show that that's actually taking place. So let me slide into this next one here. All right. So these are going to flash some pictures up and some of the stuff we're doing. You guys want to go read a little bit about Darren Jensen, right? I remember him walking in the first day, sat down with all the top leaders, shook hands, looked at us, said, what needs to get done? We need to turn this thing around, show people what this company has. How do we get this out here? A lot of respect towards him. I watched him pick up a phone and solve a problem that we were trying to solve for 6 months, and he did it in about 6 minutes. So there's some neat leadership when we start looking behind some of these. And the person that brought you, again, time-wise, I'm going to skip through some of these, but you guys can start to see where we're heading, what's going on, being publicly traded. It is amazing. I'm laughing at all the dates. You can start to see the growth. We even got some neat information coming, I think, that's going to be fun with all of this stuff. Open in New Zealand. That was a fun day. Got to ring the bell January 9th of 2020. What a day. That went all over, and it was fun to be able to watch things that we told people about, things that were coming, things that were happening, and to be able to sit back and say, look, it's actually taking place. We're actually watching it grow, and the credibility just increased with that. Jersey Front sponsorship of the Real Salt Lake soccer team, the expansion of markets that are opening. One of my favorites, and I wanted to get to this, is our legacy program. This isn't too far from my house. This is down in Mexico. Some of these pictures of us going down there and building houses in Mexico. I think the largest one we did, I think we did 5 houses in 4 days. And to have down there that are making very good money, take their time and go down and get dirty and lay block for 4 days, and or three main days, I should say, and to be able to put these together and then to hand them to families in need, it's life-changing. It's totally life-changing. My daughters get to go down, and it's pretty special, you guys. I'll just tell you a quick little add-in story here. My coming home from a volleyball tournament from Phoenix about 3 years ago, we were in a bad car accident, our family was. And it was tough to be able to, for me, helping people in that situation is what I was used to, right? And here I am in the situation, in the back of a medic truck, bad accident. I got to the hospital. My 2 daughters were helicoptered out. I found out it took a little while, but I found out quickly that both my daughters were paralyzed from the waist down from this accident. We were only a few miles from home on the freeway, and my wife was hurt really bad, and we all 4 of us ended up critical condition. We all made it. Luckily, we're blessed and happy. But what a change, right? And I'll just tell you right now that legacy program changed my daughter's life. She woke up, found out she was paralyzed. She wasn't going to ever walk again. And her next thing out of her mouth, right? She said, she wanted to serve for her church. She said, can I still go on a mission and serve for our church? Absolutely. She asked if she could still have babies because of the surgery. She was worried about having a family. The next thing she said, you guys, was, can we still go to Mexico this year and build houses? And we have photos of my daughters in their wheelchairs laying block for a family that we may not ever really know. We do go down there often and get to see them, but it is life-changing to let your kids go experience giving back. When you're doing well, to be able to give that back is special. And one of the biggest pieces I'll touch on with this income statement form is what happens in the process of this kind of income, right? Because if you think about it, you teach somebody, they love the product, they order the product. Our products are packaged in 30-day supplies, so they order every month. You get a commission off that every month. So you have this leveraged income, this income that comes month after month based off those sales and based off people continuing to order that product. Our first goal for a lot of people is to get them to what we call a Pro 3 rank. This distributor rank on the left is designed to help people set goals, move through the ranks, so to speak. There isn't somebody that has to leave the rank ahead of you for you to join. Like in corporate America, sometimes the position you want, that chief position or that assistant chief position on the fire department, somebody has to leave or die or something happen. It's sad to get the spot. It's like we're pushing for bad things to happen and people to leave and retire so we can have that. Here, there's room for everybody, right? If your goal's Pro 3, if you look at the average Pro 3 in the second column right here, $626 is what our average Pro 3 makes, right? When you take all the Pro 3s, put them in a pot, add up what the highs and the lows, we got an average of $600. So a Pro 3 doing about $5,000 in volume. That's your volume, that's your customers, it's the packs, it's everything. I think that's a great place to start, right? You look at what you bought your pack for, what you got involved for, that much money right there allows you to continue buying your product. You're making money every month. Great place to be, right? I think in this example here, looking at the Pro 5 rank, okay, look at the Pro 5, you have $3,100 a month as a Pro 5. I think that's great when you look at maybe even part-time. For some people, that's full-time income. Nice place to be. 20,000 in volume gets you there as a team. It's adding up your team's volume, the people you bring involved. But what would an extra $3,000 that comes in every month do for you right now, right? Based on those sales and things like we talked about. But how is that average just coming up in your account? How would that change things? Look at the Pro 7s, right? $13,000 a month. I think at that point, you basically enter into the top 10% of U.S. income earners when you hit that point. $13,000 a month, great place to be. Goal for most people to be able to kind of switch full-time and do other things part-time if they'd like. We have the elite ranks down to Pro 9, and then you see the master ranks. I want to tell you a little story. That accident took place in February, you guys. We hit the executive rank, our family did, 1 month prior to that accident. We're sitting in the hospital. Meetings still took place because we had a system in place. We taught people what to do. We're sitting in the hospital, and I can tell you one of the least concerns, one of the littlest concerns in my mind. Obviously, with my kids hurt, my wife hurt, myself, and couldn't get out of bed. It was nice to be able to have that money come in month after month after month. Sales took place. People heard them. People taught. People kept doing the same things, and to have that kind of income consistently come in was life-changing for us, right? It was a game changer in the sense of a bad situation like that taking place. And I want to show you this because I'd like you to set goals tonight. Get back with the person that brought you and say, hey, that Pro 7, that Elite Pro 7 is what I need. That's where I want to get to. That's what I want to do. I think that's going to help me. That is what we're trying to accomplish when we say set some goals, use the income statement form. We can tell you what we did and where we got to, and we have to be careful of that because we want you to know that it took a lot of work. But the nice thing about that is you can do it, right? We really know that you can go out and accomplish this. Let me share this real quick. Okay, number 4, there's a system. I mentioned the system, and the reason I think the system's important is because I don't know your background, where you come from. I definitely didn't come in as some sales guy. I didn't come in as a polished presenter. You can see that tonight. I love what I do. I'm passionate about it. Wasn't a tech guy. I was a guy that would go dig a ditch, or if you were hurt, I'd be the first one in and I'd be the last one to leave, right? I loved helping people. We can take anybody, right? This is what's so fun. We can take people that are, from any background, I should say. It's the inner stuff that we need. We need the ability for you to come in and try, work hard, learn, follow a program, follow a mentor. We have an easy follow system, launch, learn, lead. There's a point to where you get a lot of mentorship, and there's a point to where you become the mentor. And it allows all of us that chance to grow. There's regular meetings. The nice thing about this call is it's corporate wide, but you were invited by someone. They have regular meetings. They have team trainings. Corporate does events and trainings. We have incentives to keep you motivated and excited. And I think you can do this. I'm excited. It is a lot of information kind of shoved into a quick 45 minutes here to an hour. Just know that each of these categories there's a lot more information. We're giving you an overview tonight, but there's a lot more that's here that we can help you with. You can become a customer. It's kind of that a la carte version where, man, I see product, I don't see the business. Talk to the person before you make that decision by itself, because there's some support that they can give you and some background and some history. You can join the team if you see that being something that can help you right now. Pick a package, get involved, get your sponsor, the person that brought you, get their number, go in, log in, get your package coming in the mail. The fun part is we're doing this with or without all the lockdown stuff and what's going on. We can do this from home. We can do this. It's not quite as good. I can't shake your hand afterward. I think it would be hard to shake 1,000 people's hands anyways. But it's fun to be able to talk to 1,000 people all over the country, different countries, all in an hour tonight. And so, you guys, I'll just say this, my family's doing good. My daughter did go on a mission and be able to serve. My other daughter is playing wheelchair basketball, same sport she loves. She just does it from a chair. Her first game she got in, I think she scored 24 of the 28 points, her very first game. And she came up and rolling into me in the bench. And she said, Dad, I can figure this out. This is fun. Same game. I've just got a set of wheels instead of legs, and I'll figure this out. I have watched the good people that my kids hang around be a big influence, right? I came home one day and my daughter wrote on a whiteboard. It said, you better start building your own dreams before someone hires you to build theirs, right? I thought that was powerful. My daughter wrote that at 14 years old. She put it up there. And I said, where did you learn that? She said, at our last Elite Academy, our corporate event, she said, somebody said that and I wrote it down. She, at 19 years old, owns her first house, has a few different businesses that she runs. And it's amazing to watch their mindset change, right? I love corporate America. I've seen it help a lot of people. I've also seen what the ability to step out of that does to people if they're leaders, if they're willing to learn, if they're willing to grow, and run their own business, right? The unique thing about running your own business, guys, is you wake up tomorrow morning and say, hey, I have my own business. So which means you get to choose to wake up at 2 in the afternoon because you have your own business, or wake up at 5 in the morning and get to work, right? None of this is a get rich quick anything. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of community. But I can tell you this, if you dig right now, dig and dig and dig. I hope nothing ever happens. I hope you don't have a tragedy or things like that. But it is nice to have built a system, a leveraged system, not linear. You're not trading hours necessarily. It's a lot of hours at first, but when you get this thing built and going, it's a lot of fun, and it's a lot of ability to support and be with those you need to be with when you need to be there. When my daughters woke up at 2 in the morning crying because they needed to talk, I was sitting right by their side, right? I wasn't back to work, didn't need to be there. It was fun to be able to have something like that. So I appreciate you guys. A lot to share, shoved it in a little bit of time. We'd love to share more if needed. Get with the person that brought you. They'll be happy to help you. We appreciate you taking the time tonight. Get on every Tuesday with 10 more new people, and let us help you build your business, right? Let us help you build your business, right? Appreciate you guys. I'll close it out. I think I'm turning it back over to Dave. Appreciate you, and we'll go from there. Thanks, Dave.
All right. You bet. Thanks so much, Blue. Big thank you to Executive Master Blue Elam for the presentation tonight. And like he said, we do this every Tuesday night. So if this was your first time here and you're just learning a little bit more about this business tonight yourself, and you want to bring a guest back tonight, feel free. Our presenter next week will be Sharice Matthew, who is an Elite Pro 8, which means that she's doing at least 200,000 points of volume, essentially $200,000 in sales every month. And then one more time, I want to make sure everybody knows, Saturday morning, 10 a.m. is our Success Mastery, and you don't want to miss that. So once again, from all of us here at LifeVantage, big thank you to Blue Elam, and thank you to all of you who tuned in tonight. The recording of this presentation will be available through our Facebook page. So go to the official LifeVantage group page on Facebook, and there, when it's ready, when the recording is ready, it will be there for you. So until then, thanks again, and we'll see you next time.